Welcome. What is up, Mixer? How's it going? Welcome to the first installment of what is going to be a week of review for the Mixer. Basically, what I'm going to do is hopefully every week have a breakdown of what's been going on in the league, maybe a little bit of what's been going on in the sports world, and primarily the NFL. Gonna try to break it all down for you guys. Add a little humor, just trying to do something in lieu of my kind of failed, short-lived motorsports riding career. Just to have a little side hustle going on, because God knows I do not want to work at Kaiser for the rest of my life. So if you guys give me feedback, that'd be great. Maybe it could be two of us at some point doing this thing. Maybe it'll turn into a podcast someday. Who the fuck knows? But we're gonna do it. We're gonna do it every week, and I don't know. Hopefully, Mason will get some laughs out of it at the very least. All right. So this week, first off, when I get into just the general talk on the preseason, hasn't really been. I feel like it's been kind of a mellow preseason there. Fingers crossed. Haven't been too many huge injuries in the NFL. I think the biggest one was Marquise Lee, the number one wide receiver for the Jaguars, going down. I think he shredded some knee ligament. Matt probably knows more about it, but it did spark a little bit of debate because Jalen Ramsey, teammate, outspoken teammate, I believe made some comments that he felt it was because the guys don't know how to tackle anymore, mainly because of the new helmet rule. People are diving at each other's legs, and I mean, he does kind of have a point, but I kind of disagree to some extent in criticizing the rule completely. And I kind of wanted to just get into a talk about just safety in sports, because the new lowering the helmet rule has been getting a lot of talk, and been getting a lot of little gifs on Twitter where people are clipping tackles and putting their hands up saying, how is this a penalty? They might as well be playing flag football. This is a joke. But the bottom of the line is that something has to be done, because more and more players are getting these head injuries. The players now are so much faster, so much stronger, that the game has to adjust. And I can't help but think about and relate it to motorsport, because if we look back, tracks were designed for racing initially when they were built in like the 50s, 60s, 70s. That's when most of the modern tracks that are still around were built. They were built for much slower cars, and then you have cars advancing because of technology. They're going a lot faster, and drivers dying was like almost an every weekend thing. Drivers were dying all the time. Big name guys too. And something had to be done, so they kept doing things to slow down the cars, make them more safe. And I think that kind of the final straw was Ayrton Senna. He died at in Imola, track in Italy, in '94, and he was the last Formula One driver to die due to an accident on track until about I can't remember what year it was. It was a few years ago. A guy went under there was a kind of like a freak accident. They had a removal bulldozer on the track trying to remove another car, and it was wet, and he just went off track even though the yellow flags were out. He lost control of his car and kind of slipped underneath and hit his head. But anyway, there's been continuing advances because the organizers and managers and just the invested parties in it know that it's their responsibility to make sure that the drivers are ensured some element of safety, because they'll just keep going out there. They're they're competitors, and it's natural. I don't know if it's bravado or ego or what, but it's the same for drivers as it is for these NFL players. They don't care necessarily about the risks, so it's the responsibility of the organizers and other people invested in it to do what they can to make sure that these people are safe. And fortunately for racing, they're doing things like implementing the halo, and fans still complain about that being ugly, or making it taking the element of risk out that they feel should be in there. They feel that it's open cockpit, there should be the risk. That's part of the attraction to them, when really the sport is the same. It's still drivers, and they're still super dangerous. These guys can still get seriously injured and can seriously die, even with the new halo system. But with the accident that happened this weekend, a car going over the top of the other one, luckily it hit the halo instead of hitting the driver. He probably would have gotten injured, or he probably would have got hit if it weren't for the halo. He may not have gotten seriously injured. Who knows? But it's definitely adds some safety there. And I think with getting back to the NFL rule, there's some growing pains. Yes, the defenders are going to have to learn how to adjust their tackles, but it's really hasn't been as big of a deal as everybody in the media and on Twitter are making it out to be. There have only been through the first 2 preseason games, there were 50 calls for lowering the helmet, and I think one of the I was watching one of the games. I think it was the Browns versus the Eagles, the barn burner that finished 5-0. Dog Pound Nation. One of the, I think it was, what's the ref's name? Like Mike Florio, or maybe he's the Pro Football Talk guy. I don't know. One of the retired refs, or anyway, Fox's ref, their in-house ref that they reference. He came on and said that 12 of the 50 were bad calls, basically. So we're looking at 38 violations total. So 38 instances where these tackles were illegal and correctly called. So I mean, it is going to change the game, but in the long run, it's going to be no different. It's still going to be 200, 300-pound dudes flying around, hitting each other around. It's still going to be violent. It's not going to be flag football. It's going to be the same sport. I think the refs just need time to adjust to it, and we need time to adjust to it as fans. And I think if it can prevent more concussions, I think it's a good thing, especially coming from San Diego. We had the misfortune of losing Junior Seau to suicide, in some part due to his CTE. At least that's what I believe. That element's debatable, but the number of these athletes whose brains are coming back with signs of CTE is just it's scary stuff, and something has to be done about it. And I think this is a step. I think the new rule is a step in the right direction, and hopefully it makes a somewhat safer game for the players. It's never going to be completely safe. There's always going to be that risk with just the nature of the game and the size of these guys that are flying around. But I hope it helps, and I think it will. All right, so moving on from that talk, getting into more of the fun stuff. I was hoping to go over the gauntlet standings, how everybody turned out with their 3-point shooting, but we're still waiting on some stragglers. So nobody knows the draft position yet, except Matt, I guess. I suppose that can change. He may be doing a little bit of chess playing while the rest of us are playing checkers, trying to figure out our draft position. He may be looking at the standings. Who knows? He may be just YOLOing it. He's probably balls deep in the dirt, so probably not thinking about too much else at the moment. But anyway, hopefully we'll have those soon. But yeah, I won't have the another video until after the draft, so that's unfortunate. What else? Oh, some draft day reminders. I assume we're potlucking, so bring something good. I'm going to be taking the trolley there, so I'll probably have to order something unless I carry stuff on the trolley, but I don't know. We'll see how that goes. And one more thing. Don't forget the designated driver. Very important. Very important. All right. And another reminder for draft day. Make sure you have your rankings handy. Matt and Jess, make sure you print out your Roto-World rankings prior to, maybe I suggest at least 10 minutes before the draft kicks off. That would help. Danny probably has had his rankings since school let out. A lot of time to fill. I assume he was checking the supermarket daily for the first magazines. I can picture him being there waiting for the deliveries to come in and the magazines to be stocked, checking each day, getting disappointed, hanging his head, walking out each time that the Vaughn's clerks weren't stocking the fantasy football magazines. Let's see, Mason. I feel like Mason probably just has a printed draft sheet that has 2 boxes, and one box says, is Ezekiel Elliott available, and if so, draft Ezekiel Elliott, and then if not, draft whoever's going to piss Jeff off the most. And that's I think that's his whole draft strategy. And I mean, it might be a solid strat. It's worked for him at least one of the years where he made the finals, but I'm trying to forget about that. All right, what else? Let's get into some draft day predictions. Who's going to be the first to arrive? Jeff probably going to spend the night. Actually, no, Jeff's not even going to be there. Now that I think about it. Shit, I'll probably be the first one there this year. So that'll be fun. I'll get to kick it with Junior. And yeah, get to invite all 4 of us who are probably going to be there. I forgot it's going to be a small crowd. Hopefully Corey comes at least to partake in the activities. That'll be a good time. It's always a good time seeing pretty much everybody. But yeah, the more that can make it there, the merrier. So yeah, let's make this just a 1-year thing. Hopefully we'll be back up to 12 next season. I'm kind of bummed that we're down to 10 this year, but whatever. It'll just we'll still make it fun, right? All right, who's gonna drink the most beers? Well, I got a DD, so I'm gonna be up there in contention. I mean, it's Matt's house, so he's gonna be up there in contention too. Danny, he may have 2, but that's in normal person beers, that's 10. So shit, if we're handicapping it, or he might be the clubhouse favorite. Most whiskey, Anthony, for sure. First to take a kicker. Shit. Well, Justin's out of the league now, so I don't know. Jess? No, she knows the rules. She's pretty He's pretty good at that. Mason will probably do it just to piss people off. That's good. That's gonna be my guess. First person to take a player that's already selected. If Mikhaila drives, I'm gonna say it's gonna be Anthony, because that whiskey is just gonna cloud things a little bit. Just hard alcohol hits you a little, a little different. Not necessarily more drunk, but more impaired. That's a terrible take. I'm just gonna pretend like I didn't say that. By what round will we be tired of Matt referencing the Dirk? Probably before the draft. How many water bets will be made? I'm gonna set that over under at 4.5 water bets will be made at the draft. Well, actually, Jeff's not gonna be there. Shit. So I have nobody to accept my water bets because Jeff's the only one that seems to have the cojones to actually make that challenge. So, man, I'm gonna miss you, Jeff. I'm gonna miss you. All right, so that's the outlook ahead of the draft. I am stoked. It's the best day of the year. I think that's gonna wrap it up for this week's. Next week, I think I want to talk. Well, we're gonna talk about the last week of preseason football. Obviously, the lead up to week 1. Any changes, any crazy NFL news. Definitely gonna be talking about that. Maybe a little bit of Canelo Triple G talk. That's coming up. It snuck up on me. It's only like 2.5 weeks away, so big fight. Really excited. Nothing better than a big fight as far as sporting events go. And yeah, I think that's it. Let's get at it, boys. Let's get the season going. Let's make it the best yet. And yeah, can't wait for Sunday. Let's do it.